Hey everybody, this is Jason Creel and this is Lawn Care Life. Today I want to talk to you about something that I think is very important for your lawn business, and that's how can you get more lawn care customers. Now, there's a couple aspects to this and I want to talk about both of them. The first aspect is how do you get people to call your phone? You know, how do you get those leads? And that's a very important thing. But I want to spend more time actually talking about what to do once they do call you, which I am blown away by how people are not able to execute this a little bit better. And I'm not saying I'm the greatest at it, but we're going to talk about it in this video. And I've got a lot of practical things you need to do to be able to land those customers. But as far as getting the leads, I've talked about this in other videos, but for me, the best thing that I've done, the best two ways I get customers, and I don't try to hide this, but it's just having a website that ranks well on Google, and other search engines I'm sure too, but being able to get those leads from the internet, because believe it or not, that's where a lot of people are searching for you on the internet, and they're searching for terms like lawn care service near me or lawn care in such and such a town, and you want your website to show up highly on Google. Now that's a whole industry out there called search engine optimization that I know a little bit about, but you want to get your website ranking well, and that'll lead to hopefully a bunch of phone calls. Now the other thing I do is try to build a lot of relationships in the community, people that the more people that you know and that know you and know what you do, then the better that'll be for sending you customers. So for me, doing a lot of weed control and fertilization, I want to get to know as many of the people out there mowing grass as possible, because they're going to be asked, who do you recommend for weed control, and I want them to send them to you, and vice versa. If you're doing mowing, maybe get to know the people doing weed control or other aspects in our industry. So and just other people in the community in general. You know, there's some people in the community, they just know a lot of people, and if you're the one they recommend, that can be good for you. So but as far as what to do when they call, that's what I want the focus of this video to be about. And again, I'm blown away that some people are not any better at this than they are, or at least I don't think they are. I'm not following them around, but let's go over some of this. What to do when somebody calls you and wants lawn care service. All right, I've got a lot of practical steps, so let's get started. So the first thing I want to talk about is you need to answer your phone. Now some of these may sound like such common sense, but I'm blown away that people don't answer their phone. Now I understand sometimes I don't always have a phone with me. Maybe I'm out working in the yard. Maybe you're on a lawnmower, you don't hear the phone ring. That's understandable. I'm not saying that you always have to answer, but try to answer when you can. And then this is the other one that to me is just a no-brainer. If you don't answer the phone, have a nice voicemail set up. You know, not you've reached 55555, please leave a message, you know, some robot voice on there. That's not good. Not, hey, you've reached Jason, I'm going fishing, leave me a message. Not, hey, this is Jason, you know what to do. You know, not any of that, nothing funny, nothing cute, nothing stupid, nothing sarcastic. Just say your name and your business in a very polite way. Make it brief and to the point, and we will call you back shortly, you know, or as soon as possible, or whatever. You know, I don't say that if you're not gonna call them back, because that's just being dishonest in my opinion. But mine is very simple. It goes something like this. Hey, you've reached Jason with Alabama Lawn Pros. Thanks for calling. Please leave a message. And I also add on there, I think something like, if you've reached me on a Sunday, I will try to return your call on Monday morning, because a lot of times I don't answer the calls on Sunday or return calls on that day. So anyway, it's just simple like this. It's not long. I don't go on and on. People don't want to listen to a long voicemail, but to me, to not have a voicemail is just wrong. It's clear who you are, what's your name of your company, and please leave a message with the intention that you're going to get back to them. Now, the next thing that to me seems common sense too if you're trying to get customers, but understand this, that if you miss a call, or let's say you get a lead off your website, somebody's filled out some form on your website and it comes to your phone through your email that you've got a lead, then you need to call them back as soon as possible. Even if they fill out an online form for me and it says on there, you know, their name, address, phone number, email address, I'm not going to email them back. I almost immediately call them. If they don't answer, leave a message, send them a text, whatever. I know they email me, but I like to talk to people. I like to do it as quickly as possible, because a lot of times they want to hire the first person that they can get in touch with. I know, picture this, if you're in it's 100 degrees outside in the summer and your air conditioner breaks, how long are you wanting to wait to call an HVAC person? How long are you going to give them to call you back before you go on to another company? Now I understand we're in a different industry, it's not quite that urgent in that situation, but people don't like waiting. We're by nature procrastinators, people are, and they wait till the last minute, and when they want something done, they're used to having it done right then, so they're not looking to wait around. So make it quick, get back to them as soon as possible. Now, when you get back to them as soon as possible, now here's something I want to talk about is you want to give them a quote as soon as possible. Now, let me hear this. If somebody fills out something online and just gives me their name and address, and I'm not gonna drive 20-30 minutes across town to go look at that yard until I've spoken with them and got a little more confirmation. Because sometimes the ones that go online, they just go and find any company they can and start getting quote, 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 quote. Now if I'm one of 6 people giving a quote, I'm not as urgent to get there. So you gotta, not that I wouldn't give them a quote, I do. I want to call them and talk to them. I got one the other day that was so weird, and they emailed me and said, the language just sounded like they had an attorney drawn up or something. It was so, I need to find and read it. But anyway, it had an actual street name, but it's something like, we're, taking quotes on this street name, and it was this email, and I just replied back and said, please give me a call, because I don't want to put anything in writing that sounds like somebody's going over the top with this stuff. Like, just call me, let's talk like a human, But the point being, oftentimes, if you can get out there and provide that quote quickly, that is very helpful. I would think the first person has the greatest chance of landing that job. Okay, once I talk to them on the phone, again, some of this sounds common sense to me, but I want to ask them if are they home, can I meet them there? Because ideal scenario is I meet the customer at their house and we're looking at their yard together. Now, why do I want to do that? Well, one, I want them to see the way that I've got a uniform on, my truck is nice, it's decal, equipment I use, I look like a professional setup here. And I want to be able to meet them and talk to them about their yard and just make a warm first impression on them in person. I think if I do that, I can sell them. Now, if that doesn't always happen, they might be at work and you're going during the day. If that doesn't happen, then the next best thing I'll do is if I talk to them, I say, hey, well, if it's okay, I'm going to go ahead and go look at your yard now, and when I get over there, I'm going to call you and talk to you about your yard, if that's okay. Most people agree to that. And so, second best option is I'm talking to them about their yard while I'm standing there looking at their yard. Now, along with that is the next point I want to make, and that is, this is an opportunity for you to show a little bit of your knowledge while you're talking to them. Now, we're not trying to just impress people and just use big words. I mean, let's don't make this overly complicated. But if I'm doing weed control and fertilization, I want to talk to them about some of the weeds in their yard, just so they can pick up on quickly that I didn't just start last week and I know a little bit at least what I'm doing. If you're mowing grass, you can talk to them about your equipment, maybe just a little bit. Don't bore them to death. Don't try to just overwhelm them with big words or fancy stuff just to hear yourself talk. But at the same time, I'm saying give them a little bit, give them a little taste to show your professionalism and maybe some things you see that could be improved on in their yard and how you can make it better. I think it's a chance for you to sort of sell yourself before you close the deal. Now, you want to, obviously, you got to give them an actual price. So whatever that involves for you, whether it's walking around looking at the yard, measuring the yard, you can measure with the measuring wheel. You can use a software to measure. And I do both sometimes. Sometimes I do them both on the same yard. Sometimes I do one or the other. But you got to give them an actual number. And once you can give them the number now, or you can talk to them about what the service is going to actually look like. So this would be like if you're mowing grass, where you would say, hey, here's what our mowing schedule looked like. In April, we start mowing every 2 weeks. In May, it becomes weekly, and we mow weekly all the way through September. And in October and November, it goes to bi-weekly or whatever. And that schedule is going to vary depending on how you do things or where you live and things like that. So, but go over exactly what they can expect. Is there some options, or you dictate everything? If you know that you're in this specific neighborhood on Thursday, then you tell them, hey, we're going to be here every week on Thursday. If it rains, then we may get pushed back to Friday, but you know, just letting you know that Thursday is our regular day in this neighborhood. I think they appreciate that. It shows that you have a system and an order of doing things. Now, if you hadn't already done so, this is the time to give them a price and let them know how much it costs. You probably should actually do that ahead of before this time, but you got to agree on the number. So you dictate the price to them. Maybe if it's doing mowing, you have a price for weekly cuts. If it's bi-weekly, it's going to be a little bit more. If you're doing weed control and fertilization, you know, you've measured the yard and here's the price for your yard. Here's how many treatments a year we're doing. And you get an agreement, a verbal agreement. You know, I don't necessarily think with residential accounts that you always have to have a written contract. I certainly don't. But just to have that verbal agreement and that they agree that they want to do it. And then you move on to the next step, which is talking about payment. And you dictate the terms to them. Maybe you have options for payment. Maybe they can put a credit card on file. You bill them at the time of service. They prepay. They pay for the year up front at a discount. Whatever the options are, you let them know that. And let them know how to handle that. And again, it shows that you're not just winging it. You didn't just start thinking about this on the spot. You have a plan and a system in place, and this is how things are going to be done. And I think most customers are not going to feel like you're talking to them and bossing them around. They want to be told what to do. I mean, you know, when I come out there to give a quote for weed control and fertilization, I don't say to the customer, I say, you know, what do y'all think? Hey customer, you think I need to come 4 times a year, 12 times a year, 8 times a year? How many treatments you think I need? Because I'm, you know, no, I just tell them, I said, this is the program and this is what we do and this is what we're going to get results in. It shows confidence, and they want you. That's why they called you, so you can tell them what to do and you can take care of it. And they don't have to worry about it. If they wanted to do it themselves and come up with their own plan, and sometimes you get those people, they kind of want to halfway hire you but halfway be in control. That's not an ideal customer. Most people want you to take care of it, and that's why they called you. All right, 2 more points here. Once you get that agreement, you've communicated the service schedule, the payment, everything like that, you want to genuinely thank the customer. And this can also be done even when you first talk to them after they've requested a quote, whether on the phone or you first contact with them voice to voice, is to thank them for the opportunity to be able to go give you a quote. But now that you've got that business, say, hey, I really appreciate the business. I know there's a lot of companies out here, and the fact that you've entrusted your lawn to me is, I really appreciate that, and I don't take that for granted. And make it sincere and genuine, because I mean, and if you don't, you can't, you know, fake it. If you don't care, then just don't care. But for me, I mean, I really, most of the time I really want that customer, and I want to let them know that I appreciate them using my company for their lawn care needs. And then the last thing is just to blow away on the first impression. I mean, if you say you're going to come every Thursday, you need to do everything you possibly can to show up on Thursday that first week. Now, if it rained, obviously Wednesday all day and you're behind, I mean, you at least want to notify them that, hey, it's rained. You don't necessarily have to notify them every time, but I would that time. But you want to show up, do a great job, and make that great first impression. Sometimes it takes a few times to get people to trust you and to feel comfortable using your service, but then after a while, obviously they're going to trust you. Now, I'm not saying do a great job the first time and do a sorry job after that, but you want to do a great job every time. But just make sure that first time that you exceed their expectations. You know, maybe even text them. Like doing weed control, sometimes you might come spray a yard, and you know, it's not like mowing the lawn. They can't come home and see that it's been mowed, or see it's been sprayed rather, because you can't tell, and there's a sign in the yard. So I might even text them and say, hey, you know, just got done with that first lawn application, should be seeing some results within 2 or 3 weeks. I really appreciate the business, something like that, and they appreciate that. This year, one of the things I've done, and my wife helped come up with this, but we got some little magnets printed up, and we hang one of those on a plastic bag on the door, and it's got a little calendar for the year and a picture and things like that, and just says thank you for your business. So, you know, I get that new customer and I go that first service, yes, we're going to invoice them, but I also put that little magnet in there. It's nothing, it wasn't expensive, but just something to let them know that we're appreciative and let them see that we're a little bit different than maybe some of our competitors. Hey, some of these things may sound simple, but if you do a lot of these, you're going to set yourself apart, come across more professional, and hopefully land more jobs. And as you do that, then the word of mouth kicks in, you know, because you've made a good impression on a lot of people in your city, and they talk in person, they talk to neighbors, they talk on the internet, on Facebook, and they share things about who their lawn care provider is. And if you do a great job, then you're going to start getting those word of mouth referrals. At least that's how it's been for me. So I hope this has been helpful. Let me hear from you. What do you think about this process? Is there something I'm leaving out? Is there an order I'm doing things? If you got something to add that you want to share with the group, you can leave that in the comments. I'm Jason Creel. You can go to my website, lawncarelife.com. There's some resources available there. If you hadn't done so, I would encourage you to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell beside the subscribe button. That will allow YouTube to notify you when I create new content. I've got hundreds of videos on YouTube. Go check them out. Hope you guys are having a great year in the lawn care business. Talk to you later. Bye.